What's it like working with each other?
We don't know any better, we're institutionalised.
We don't know any better.
It might be amazing working with someone else, I just don't know. Never tried.
I'm not gonna add to that.
I'm Kirstie Allsopp, and this is Phil Spencer, and together
We are partners and shareholders in the production company Raise the Roof, which is based in Glasgow.
Hi, I'm Jane Muirhead and I'm Managing Director at Raise the Roof Productions. Kirstie, Phil and Sarah Walmsley and me, we all met working on Location. Towards the end of 2009, we all got the opportunity when BBC Worldwide spoke to us about setting up a company of our own.
We wanted to set up a production company, I think primarily because we wanted a bit more control over the work that we did, but just as important, if not more important, who we worked with. We had some good production colleagues and we went into business with them.
We do a lot with Kirstie and Phil. We make Kirstie and Phil's Love It or List It. We make all Kirstie's craft shows and the Christmas shows. We've done Holiday of My Lifetime with Len Goodman, TV That Made Me with Brian Conley. Done lots of things for Channel 4, BBC, Discovery, Channel 5. We're still trying to break into new genres. Got great hopes that we can probably break into entertainment quite soon as well.
TV can be a hard place to work. You're long hours, you're away from home, and relationships with the office and relationships with the staff, it is so important. We wanted a family-friendly company where people felt that they could take days off for those things that really mattered to them.
That's not all that common in the world of TV, is it?
It's not.
One of the things that Kirstie and I are most proud of is that Raise the Roof twice has been nominated as one among the best production companies to work for. So that's votes taken by the people that work at Raise the Roof. I'm immensely proud of that. It's a good culture.
Jane still won't let dogs in the office, and I'm with her on that because it would just be chaos.
Jane was one of our first production managers.
Yeah.
And an extremely good one. And when it came to setting up Raise the Roof, well, there was only one person that we wanted to go to who was going to have overall responsibility for the kind of direction and management of the company. She is extremely good at what she does.
So the dynamic between me and Kirstie and Phil is that I kind of think that they're a little bit scared of me, but I do say that with my tongue firmly in cheek.
We promised Jane when we set up the company we would not come to Glasgow and move paper clips around, and we really haven't.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is
Jane works with Sarah Walmsley and Andrew Jackson.
A successful company, a bit like a successful team, needs different skill sets, and we concentrate in front of camera, and we leave Jane to do what she's absolutely brilliant at.
I was actually much older than most people that get into the industry. There was a bit of a joke that I was actually probably the oldest runner in the company. My son at that point was about 4 or 5. I was desperate to get back into some form of meaningful work. I'm an art school graduate. I suddenly realised in my late 30s that I didn't actually know how to use a computer. So I did a 6-week course at Glasgow University that was aimed at women returners. There was a job placement at the end at what was then Ideal World Productions, which is now IWC Media. I ended up painting murals in this flat in Glasgow East End for backdrops for, well, it was film reviews. I kind of fell into it. I've always loved telly, but I think I was quite fortunate. I can't quite believe that I'm here 25 years later. It's great.
So how did you guys get into the industry? How did that all start?
I'm going to try and make this very long story very short. Jonathan Friedland, Guardian journalist, employed me.
Way too long.
Jonathan Friedland, Guardian journalist, employed me. I was a house hunter, and he wrote an article about what I did in The Guardian, which, as we know, is the TV newspaper. And various production companies got in touch, and I wasn't having any of it. And then Zad Rogers took me to lunch at the River Cafe, and basically I'm in TV because I'm greedy. And then they got you on board, didn't they? And we did a screen test. And then we did a non-transmittable pilot for what was then called The Great House Hunt. But I'm called Kirstie, and we had a contributor called Kate, so obviously that was a disaster. No one will ever see that show, and that's fantastic. And then it became Location.
What Kirstie's trying to say is we got into television completely by accident. It wasn't something that we dreamt of or thought about, and it wasn't even an ambition. but it has been immense fun, and we've been very fortunate and privileged to work in it and to work on programmes that we love to make.
22 years. We've been in television for 22 years, and all of those years have been with Channel 4, a channel that we feel incredibly passionate about.
Hear, hear.
What does it take to be a successful indie? Sometimes I wish that somebody would actually tell me that. Patience, tenacity, creativity, and cash flow. Planning, people. That's what it takes to be a successful indie.
You need patience and you need nerves of steel.
You need curiosity, creativity.
Don't get down when you're told no. Get back up. People will reject your ideas, and then a year later you'll switch on the telly and you'll see another show which was your idea in the first place, and you'll wonder how the heck that happened. TV is about ideas, constantly ideas. You have to watch telly to make telly. Listen to podcasts, listen to the radio, read newspapers.
I think we as an industry now are in a position where we're having to sell ourselves to the next generation. Whereas before, I think we were probably quite complacent, and we just thought, if you want to work in this industry, well, you have to put a bit of work in and you have to make the effort. One day you could be working in Europe on a holiday home show. The next day you could be working on a really hard-hitting documentary. I wouldn't change it for anything.